Welcome to Lincoln Table, you naughty little imps.
I've had my hair cut, Mark.
I can tell.
Like fucking G.I. Joe. coming into this.
I was going to say G.I. Jane.
I'll go for it. Coming into this ever nearer lockdown, I thought I'd go for two shades lighter.
That is a proper military haircut, mate.
Yeah.
That is. I'm impressed with that.
So,
I
yeah,
ought to salute. Yes, stand up.
Thanks,
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Hey, the ale goes with it as well. Look.
It does Victory
I
Ale.
didn't notice that.
I tell you what, I better cover that up. Is it? We don't want PML to get involved, do we?
Oh, for God's sake, who's this guy now? Nelson or something?
Nelson, yeah. Well, they've torn down his statue in Barbados. So
Sorry, BML.
sorry. By the way, this is a very nice beer, Bateman's Victory Ale, commemorating the Battle of whatever it was at the whenever it was.
You know it, Mark.
I do know it. Yeah. Oh dear.
He's frantically looking to see if he's got the battle on it.
This is where I need glasses. Oh,
Ooh. Yeah, good one. Yeah, it's nice anyway.
There we go. Cheers. All the best, mate.
All right. Yeah.
Another lockdown.
Another lockdown.
We're not going to talk about that tonight. Are
Yeah. We've still got to work though, so it's not as fun as the last one, is it?
we? No, it's not.
I mean, we're getting paid. Like it's good. It's
Yeah.
good. It's better than some people, but
We are
We're
lucky,
getting- we're
mate.
getting paid
to be
to work,
fair,
which is
we are very lucky that we can carry on. And my heart goes out to all them people that work in the hospitality industry. Again,
Gutted.
our heart goes out for you, and we hope this ends soon.
After all this setup, like at least the students can stay about drinking and shagging about. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You can't sell food from a calf like
No.
that. You can.
and yeah, that was a big thing. Not so long back, they were on about like they had them in lockdown in the universities, and now all of a sudden they can carry on.
Yeah.
And when it was reported, well, no, this will be false information, but they were the ones that were catching it, more than anybody else at a certain point, because they'd all come from different areas and counties and at the universities where they are, and and then all of a sudden these can carry on, and they're locking and they're shutting the hospitality industry. So
Yeah, they do the old traditional rub together when they get into uni, don't they?
Yeah.
You have to rub together. Yeah.
Oh dear. Anyway, that's a subject for another day. I think
Yeah.
we can
What was we getting on about? Was getting on about
environment.
our environment, which I think one of the things that got me onto it was before all this happened, they put this this charge on carrier bags in supermarkets and that, didn't they? And
Yeah.
it was
5p, then 10p.
one big step to stop the plastic, getting into the oceans and stuff. Which in a way, it's a good shout if it encourages you to take some reusable bags and that. But
Yeah.
I think because over lockdown we ended up getting a lot of food deliveries. Everything just came in bags. Didn't pay for them. Everything
No.
came in bags. So now with that, there's a lot more shopping getting put back into carrier bags for free. There's every single person I wouldn't say in every country, but most countries now are buying masks, aren't they? Reusable
Yeah.
masks, which are probably plastic. They're getting chucked away, probably end
Yeah.
up in the ocean with everything else, the string that holds them together. So it's almost
The
like
amount-
we took a bit of a back step, haven't we?
The amount of them disposable ones that I've seen on the street, mate, just
Yeah, I'd love to know. I don't know the numbers, but I'd love to know during the lockdowns, there's been national lockdowns all over the world. How much positive impact it had on the planet that people not using the cars as much. But at the same time, there must have been a massive increase on deliveries, shopping deliveries, Amazon deliveries.
I noticed the difference in the air quality when we went to lockdown over here. A mass difference.
Yeah.
They say nature started to regenerate. There was more wildlife starting to recover, and then what there was, because obviously we're not about I mean, we are the biggest destroyer of everything, mate. You know, we're the biggest creators, but we're also the biggest destroyers.
Yeah, there's always, that's the thing with humanity, there's always
Consequences.
yeah, for every good idea,
Yeah.
there's always
Yeah.
like a bit of a flawed. I suppose just like humanity itself,
It is,
we're always
yeah.
flawed in some
Yeah.
way. It's just how we get around these things. Like the one thing that, like we were just speaking about earlier, weren't we? The one thing that gets me is, I think a lot of people. There is a lot of people who want to deny climate change. I wouldn't say global warming. I don't know. I don't know. The terms change every
It's
decade, don't they?
it's climate deniers, in it? Climate, like COVID deniers.
Yeah, but you know, in a sense, I almost see where it comes from, because the source that you're getting this from is kind of getting pushed down your throats. It's almost like, instead of saying to people, you know, this is what's happening to you. You know, this is what's happening to you from the effects of what's going on, not just to the planet, to yourselves as well. And this is what we can do about it. It's always just like, let's tax this, let's do that, stop chucking this away, stop doing that. We're getting, you know, we're just the end user of an industry that is allowed to, by law. You know,
It's corporations that are doing it, not us.
nothing stopping them producing everything back, you know, with plastic, and most of this plastic's unrecyclable.
Yeah.
So you want to do good. We want to do a little part, even though I sometimes laugh at the us chucking plastic in the recycling bin at home, because as you do yourself, we work on building sites, and you see the plastic is just to an astronomical scale compared to what people chuck away in their houses.
The amount of stuff, mate.
Yeah.
I mean,
Every
all
s-
materials
yeah.
bricks come wrapped in plastic, wood comes wrapped in plastic,
Plumbing comes wrapped in plastic.
Plumbing
everything.
is plastic.
Yeah, plumbing is plastic,
Yeah.
so we're chucking that away. You know, and most of it, I'd say, a lot of building sites do.
And what is plastic? An oil-based product.
It's an oil-based product. Yeah, petroleum-based product, which, using ourselves, also it doesn't take a scientist to tell you that if you're using a petroleum-based product, especially for food and drink, it's leaching into your products, what you
system,
eat. So you're then taking that in. So you wouldn't like to consume petrol, would you? Because you know it'd have adverse effects on your body. So what I don't like is just don't do this, you know, chuck that away, you're getting taxed heavy on that. Why aren't they coming up with solutions? Why aren't they going above us to these corporations that are making millions of pounds off feeding this plastic into the economy?
The thing is, we don't realise how much it is damaging the food chain. Everything that everything we do, that we even emptying chemicals into our water supply, that gets dumped into rivers, goes back into the ocean. It all has that cycle.
Yeah, exactly.
Fish are absorbing it, and we eat loads of fish.
Yeah, I writ this down actually just to back you up. There's 288 million tons of plastic production made on the earth a year per year, and 10% of that. So that's 10% of 288 million. You might be able to work that out. What's that? 28 million? Is it? 10%. I'm sure it's 28 million.
I'll take your word for it, Matt.
Quote me if I'm wrong. You know, that's
just-
28 million tons of plastic into the ocean every year.
Yeah.
You know, and that's 28 million tons of plastic that doesn't need to be there most of the time. What's wrapped in plastic? Fruit.
Yeah.
Why the fuck is fruit wrapped in plastic?
There's fruit. Meats come wrapped in plastic.
You know, why can't you go to the butcher and just...
Yeah.
I don't know what the solution is. There must be another solution. I know these big corporations are making billions, and I know there's people in government that have got their fingers in the pies to make a profit out of this plastic, and it's a byproduct of petroleum, which the petroleum industry is probably the most powerful industry on the planet, you know, which is another reason why.
Well, this is another thing. They're on about plastic. It's like McDonald's. Plastic straws, right? You buy a McDonald's cup, they've still got a plastic lid on it.
I know. Which is
So
equally
it's
as
kind of fucking defeating the object, really. It's double standards.
Yeah, it is double standards.
No,
Double Big Mac and chips.
like I say, we're not helping. And
My point is, I don't think us as an end user, you know,
it's not the end user.
We can be conscious in what we're doing with it, but then where does it go after that?
Yeah.
I've seen. I've seen it on. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting.
No, you're fine. Go on, carry on, mate. No,
I've seen on. I've seen various programs on telly and stuff, and a bit of research myself. like it's okay for us end users, and I suppose these big businesses that use products that are wrapped in plastic or are plastic to recycle. Like we're encouraged to recycle. But then you think to yourself, where does that recycling go? There's only so much demand the UK has on recycled plastic, because there's not many companies that have the facilities to recycle it or to turn it into other products. So then what do? We ship it abroad. So we ship a lot of it to China. We send our plastic to China, but then once China's got enough plastic, then they just say we don't want it. So you've got, like, especially the agricultural industry, you know, they use all the plastic wraps on everything, don't they? They've wrapped the whole bloody fields in plastic. There's tons and tons and tons of it. They have just farmyards, fields stacked full of plastic. You know, and that plastic, you might just think it's fine just sat there, but that, like we said before, the plastic's leaching petroleum chemicals everywhere.
Oh, it is.
Into the water table, which then again, it's a big cycle. It's then back into the river, back into the sea. You know.
Do you know what also is going into the water table as well? All these people that are taking hormone replacement tablets.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, we take a load of chemicals into our body and we release a load of chemicals.
Yeah.
That goes back into the water table again, and what environmental impact that is having, not just on, it's animals as well, other species, not just us.
Yeah, correct.
And I was watching they did an experiment in the States a few years back, and they tested tap water, and they found like 20 different varieties of chemicals that had gone back in from, like, just recycling that. And there was, like, obviously hormone replacement tablets, contraceptive.
You could go on.
Yeah, you could go on and on. And
let alone the animals and the things that are jammed full of microplastics.
That's it.
Just from washing fleeces in the washing machine.
Yeah.
Things that have
steroids that have gone in there. I mean, that's also what goes in meats as well. Is
antibiotics.
That's also in. I can't remember, mate. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
Oh, what do they use in food to stop it from going out of date?
Preservatives.
Yeah. That's why and there was talk of this, human bodies take so long to decompose now because of all the preservatives we have.
I'd like to know the stats on that.
That's a subject we could do that for another day, or we just
dead bodies.
On a tangent. But they did that experiment, didn't they, with the McDonald's burger? Why it wouldn't rot in such a
heavily preserved?
And
that's in us.
And if it's just in them items, what is it? What other impact is it having on the environment itself? We are just totally unbalanced in nature.
And I just feel like we're so innovative as a race. Like, it can't be hard to solve these solutions. It can't be hard to solve these things, you know. It can't.
They don't want to solve it, mate.
This is it. I know this is it, taxing, but maybe us as a people, we could do a lot more to stop. Maybe even stop buying these products, but then you kind of grab by the bollocks because you
Amazon
need them.
are the worst product. You look at the size of a fucking cardboard box for a little item. You know that.
Sometimes you buy an SD card. SD card, and it'll come in a shoebox size thing.
Come on.
I know. It is shocking. You know, and I think that's just a tip on the iceberg, you know, of our impact on the environment. I think obviously the big talk is carbon dioxide and CO2, what it's doing to our atmospheres and stuff. And
what my research that I've done in the past, and what makes a hell of a lot of sense to me. All right, we had an ice age. How many?
25,000 years ago, I think. Maybe more. 100,000 years ago. 200,000 years ago. We've said this before, haven't we? Yeah.
And all the oceans have risen, right? And the landmass has changed. It was going to change because where has all that ice from the ice age gone? It's melted back into the ocean.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people don't realise, and it's never talked about, and Tony Robinson talked about this years ago and touched upon, the reason why we're separated from Europe, a lot of people thought, the continents broke away. It's not. It's because the ice age melted.
Yeah, ice
Right.
caps. Yeah,
And the oceans risen. That is it. I have dived. I have scuba dived 20 miles out from on the east coast from Skegness. Done a couple of wreck dives out there. 20 miles out, it's 20 meters deep.
Yeah.
You would think it'd be a lot deeper.
yeah,
than
you
that.
would, wouldn't you? 20 miles. Yeah.
The English Channel isn't that deep.
No.
I mean, I don't know. It was before you was born. There was that disaster, the Zeebrugge ferry that ended up on its side, and it was on the ocean bed because it is not that deep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realise that. And
And
global warming is a natural progression.
Yeah.
We are just speeding it up.
accelerating it, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is one of the subjects I wanted to bring up because I think, especially a lot of people my age, you very heavily influenced off the things you see on the internet.
Yeah.
And I think when you're denying the fact that when you're denying global warming, it's an easy debate to get into, and
Yeah.
it's an easy wormhole to get into
Yeah.
because you can say, like yourself, there's hard evidence to say that it's a natural progression of life.
But we are making it worse.
But we are accelerating.
Yeah.
This is the issue. I think this is what people are talking about. Maybe sometimes
Before I get trolled, I wasn't
exactly.
denying
No, yeah,
we are
exactly.
making it worse.
It makes sense, yeah. And I think any idea, because regardless of global warming and what CO2 is doing to the atmosphere, it's not good for us
No.
as human beings. You know,
definitely not.
Obviously, there's a natural occurrence of CO2. That's the greenhouse gases on the planet. That's what keeps us warm now. That's what keeps the sun heat trapped in.
Yeah.
Regardless of that, it's bad for us. The excess that we pump it out, to the close proximity of us, like we breathe it in every day from the cars, the motorbikes, the plants, everything that is around us. It's not good for us. It's been proven that it's accelerating dementia in people, and anything we can do to change that to make the future better for somebody's got to be a good thing. So what's the point in sitting back and denying it and saying, no, we can have all these diesel cars and stuff? Surely, I know, like all these electric cars, there's the big argument that, okay, solar power could power the electric cars, but then solar panels are going to emit more CO2 making the solar panels than the actual cars produce itself. But this is where innovation's got to come into play, hasn't it?
Same thing again, mate. Going back to that double-edged sword, it's like lithium. We use that for a lot of we use it, power tools.
Yeah.
That is being mined heavily,
Yeah.
and we go back to the ethics of that because we know, like, they're using child labour, slavery in
probably
other
deforestations
countries.
as well to get to it.
And it's that's mine. Is that you?
No,
That's me.
I don't know.
Sorry, guys.
They
Mobile
probably can't hear it.
phone.
It's just in our headphones.
Yeah.
That's all good.
We'll edit that bit out or keep it in. I'm not bothered either way. But
From the lithium device, look.
yeah, from a lithium device. And this is what we don't realise. To stop how much damage are we doing in the meantime to prevent this damage?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
this is what we don't see and hear that. The mainstream media don't bring that across.
No.
And there's been a lot of people saying about this, well, look at the production, look at all the, it's like electric cars, all the PowerPoints they're going to end up putting in.
Yeah, where's the power coming from?
Where's it coming from? Are we going to have to use fossil fuels to create this power, or is it going to be nuclear power? Then nuclear power is cleaner, but how dangerous does that become?
But then I see this as like a bit of a crossroad. Like, my personal opinion is I see where we're at now as a bit of a crossroad. We can go one of two ways, can't we? We can go to a point where we just self-destruct. We carry on like we are, and whether this global warming is true or not, eventually this is not going to be good. We're mining resources, we're raping forests, we're deforesting like parts of the rainforest that have been there for millions of years that need to be there. We need to be at this crossroads and take the right road where innovation takes over, where the people that are in charge of, the green energy, if that's what you want to call it, having electric cars, also innovate areas where we can do it where it's carbon neutral all around. So the production's carbon neutral.
Yeah.
Everything we're running off is carbon neutral. You know, but this is where money takes a bad turn in this situation because, like you say, look at the oil industry now. The richest people on the planet have made the money from the oil.
Yeah.
So they're not going to want to take a knee and say, "Well, we've made our money. There you go."
Yeah.
There's always going to be money in something, isn't there? So,
definitely.
So where does then their profit agenda then turn to? You know, this is what worries me. Where does the profit agenda turn to?
Well, it's turning to the environment, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's easy. This is where I go back to people doing the research and finding these stories like climate deniers and stuff. Because if anybody was going to lie about a situation, it'll be the people that are making the most money.
Yeah.
Because they want to keep making the most money. So in my eyes, that's the people that are selling the oil.
Yeah.
You know. So if there's an extensive bit of research that's been funded by an oil company to say that, you know what, we're not doing that bad actually.
No.
We need CO2 on the planet, which we do need CO2 on the planet. What we're pumping into it, we might be carbon deficient. We might already be this, but it doesn't take a genius. It just takes an end user like me, just an average Joe, GI Joe fucking plumber, to realise that what we're doing right now is not good for us as a race.
Do you know America was one of the last countries to adopt the recycling bin?
No.
I went on. It's going back to my boring holidays again that I want to fucking bore everybody with.
Good.
I was on a cruise. I got talking to
We know you've been around the world, Mark.
I know,
Come
I've
on.
been around the
All right.
world. An elderly American retired lady who had just been recently widowed. I was sat having a meal. We were talking to her, and she said, we're having to recycle. Bearing in mind, like, I can't remember, this is back in 2011, so 5 years previously, 2006, I remember when they introduced recycling
Them
bins
little
over
shitty
there.
little bins, didn't we?
Yeah. And she says, "Oh, we're having to use these now." And she says, "Why do you think that is?" And I went, "Well, it's trying to save the environment, isn't it? So we can recycle and we're not causing." She was like, "Well, what is wrong with this planet? What's wrong with the environment?" And you're like, "Are you that
Yeah.
either brainwashed or
Yeah.
oblivious?"
Because it
And-
is, you know, the average person,
Yeah.
me or you, we've not been to these cities of waste.
No.
You know what I mean? That have,
No.
The landfills, the rubbish goes somewhere. Every time
Yeah.
the bin picks your black bin up, it goes somewhere. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I don't care.
does.
I don't care if it has. I don't care if it's not prolonging the life of this earth.
Yeah.
Right? It's bad. You know what I mean? It's bad for us and it's bad for the earth. And we are the only thing that really matters because we're on it. We're alive.
Yeah.
We're the ones that are conscious. You know.
Yeah.
So it can't be good, can it?
No.
So for people to think that that's not an issue,
One thing I did like in Lincoln
yeah,
when they built the recycling plant on
yeah, the big
Station Road,
shit. The big shit.
the big ship
Yeah.
that you can see for miles. I have noticed the difference. I mean, it doesn't smell so much on Station Road, does
No,
it,
doesn't,
anymore?
No.
You know, and
There's houses on it now. On
yeah.
half of it, isn't there?
yeah, but there's still that waste under there. What is that going to do eventually? You know,
Because like we said before, for centuries and it must be centuries. How many years has plastic been on the planet? Or mass-produced plastic?
But-
I don't know, but that's been buried, so that's been leaching in the ground for how long, isn't it? You know.
But saying that, you go back to the Industrial Revolution, 150 years ago, and you see all the photographs around there. I know there was pictures back then. I think there was pictures back then.
Yeah.
I need to do more research.
I was going to say, can't you remember the Industrial Revolution, Mark?
You bastard.
Yeah, go on. Sorry, I'm joking.
You know, and you look at the amount of CO2 we produce. I mean, over London, it was just constant smog.
Yeah.
So what impact did that have back then?
But then,
I mean, we were raping the planet back
Yeah.
then. I mean, we the British Empire were all over the place back then.
yeah.
Um,
I do think in a way, whether this, you know, the fact that the agenda is kind of money driven
Yeah.
on
Everything's
on
money
carbon
driven, mate.
taxes and everything. I do think
Money talks.
yeah,
Money talks at the end of the day.
in a
no
weird
matter who
way.
you are.
In a weird way, it's a good thing because it's highlighting the fact that we're just taking, we're taking and taking off this planet. We're not giving a lot back to it.
Yeah.
We're just taking. So it's a good thing that's been highlighted. Whether it's like we say, whether it's for a different agenda or not, it's a good thing it's highlighted because if you think about the way of life and how long we've been on the planet and even how long humans have been on the planet, we spoke about it on another podcast, back 25,000, 50,000 years, if you believe the other narrative, the new narrative. This has been from the Industrial Revolution to now, 150, like 200 years max where we've really been polluting this planet. 200 years is not a lot, I know we're chucking a lot out, but it's not a lot. So if we can catch it in the next 100, I don't know how long it's going to take, the way the globe, or the way the...
We need to take action, mate. We really do, and we need to take responsibility. We need to look in the mirror, and there's only one person to blame, and that is us. When we look in the mirror, and at the end of the day, right, the trap door is swinging open, and we're going to be in free fall, and we're going to be fucked, proper fucked. And I really do think that if we don't book our ideas up and look at what we're buying, do we need it?
Because I tell you, this is a scary fact. Talking on this exact subject,
Yeah, go on.
This is another fact I've just took on a bit of research. Is for the population in 2050, which is not far away from now, is it? We're in 2020.
No, it's not.
2020, 30 years flies by. 30 years. You know what 30 years
I'll be in my
flies by.
70s then, mate.
2050 is not far away.
It's not. No.
Food production is going to have to increase by 70%. 70%. So that's, you could think a lot of so-called global warming, pollution, just pollution and a negative impact on our planet is coming from.
I was born in 1972, and there was just under 3 billion people on the planet. Look at where we're at where we're at now.
I know.
That is fucking scary.
It's scary, but it doesn't have to be scary. The Earth's a big place.
Yeah.
The Earth is a big place. So if we can just innovate enough and not be so fixated on wars and spending our money in the wrong place, and actually come together as one.
Yeah.
And have a lot of different priorities. People probably won't have them. They won't need to have 5 or 6 kids. They won't need. We won't need to expand as big as we're expanding.
Like Idiocracy. You watched that?
I've watched it now. Yeah,
great movie
from the last podcast. If anybody know when Mark started to explain a film, we thought he was stoned. I watched it.
Great movie. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, Idiocracy.
Yeah,
and like you said, it's quite relevant.
It is, mate.
I think we're sliding into a inevitable pandemic of thick people. I think especially as technology gets smarter, we're just getting thicker, aren't we?
Oh, we are, mate. Definitely.
And I don't even mean stupid. I mean thicker with an F. Just thicker.
Thick.
But yeah, it's I just think a lot of things can be done. A lot of things can be done about it, and just like individually can be done about it. I do a lot of things that I shouldn't do. I probably buy too many clothes, which is a big part of it. I spend my money in the wrong places. We buy a lot. We do buy off Amazon as much as I preach spending local and spending.
I'm as bad, mate. I
do want to support everything local, and I will do. But also, we live in like a convenience age, don't we? With everything, phones, technology, it's convenience. Everything's
just
convenient.
there. It's in front of us. It's easy. But is it? Because then we end up putting more pressure on ourselves because we've created that little bit of time, and then we say we're going to do it and we can't, and
it's a social trap. That's what it is.
And we're easy.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going off on a tangent, but we're so easier to get a hold of nowadays.
But I think this is where the problem lies. I think if you can fix, I'll say humanity, because it's not just a problem in the UK, is it, or America? I'd say humanity. If you can fix humanity socially, I'm almost positive if all the social issues are sorted. You know, like people don't need to be starving. People don't need to
No.
be living in poverty. And I can't remember who it was. I was watching another podcast with another guy, and he was trying to explain a different narrative to, you know, when people say, oh, you know, the Mexicans and the government are really bad for letting people take the forest down or selling the forests off, and his argument was not sticking up for them. His argument was nobody wants to be poor. You know what I mean?
Nobody wants to be poor, mate. Nobody wants.
Before anything can be fixed, people want to be rich.
Yeah.
People want, you know, and that's just the way that society's formed people. You know, we need money.
Well-
We need money to survive. So when you hear people that are going out taking ivory, it's probably the most despicable thing you can think of to us, because elephants are becoming extinct. And
I obviously I don't agree with it. I
No.
don't advocate it. All it's, you know, it's disgusting, but they've been pushed into that poverty.
Exactly.
What's making them do it? Why have they been pushed into that
Exactly.
poverty? And we blame them and say, oh, it's sick and everything. Yeah, it is sick.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be doing it, but somebody's put them in that position.
Exactly. Especially now, I've got a young family, Mark.
Yeah.
Like, and you would have known one day in your life when you had a young family and you were starting off in life. If I was put in a position, I'm pretty sure I could vouch for most people listening.
Yeah.
If I was put in a position where I'd been just dragged through the gutter my whole life, you know, and it was impossible for me to earn anything.
Yeah.
I couldn't, and to earn something doesn't mean the world, but when you've got nothing, it means
Yeah.
everything, you know.
Yeah.
So if I was put in a position where somebody said to earn a good wage and to look after your family and feed them and make sure they're secure,
Yeah.
you've just got to cut wood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've got to cut wood, or you've got to, you know, you've got to kill animals. You know, that's life.
Yeah.
It is life. So we need to sort them situations out so people don't feel that desperation
No.
to be a part of ruining our planet. You know.
The thing is, in this world, I blame a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff. Me
A
too.
lot of stuff. A lot of it's like magazines, the mainstream media blowing up like, oh, you've got to have the next best thing, celebrities.
Greta Thunberg.
That is a scary kid. She looks like the kid off what's that movie? Fuck.
Yeah, she's
That
not
horror
the
movie.
best advocate for an average person on doing better for the environment, is she?
The Orphan. Can you remember that horror movie, The Orphan? She looks like her, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And she's trademarked her name. No, not many people know that.
No, I
She
didn't
has
know that.
trademarked her name. She's become a trademark.
So she's a commodity. She
She is. And yeah.
she's an asset to the globalist
Yeah.
elites.
She needs to go back to school and stop skiving.
Yeah, go back to
Get a
school.
proper education.
I'm sure in the UK when you're not at
Then-
school, you get the parents get a fine.
Yeah.
Then again, but she's making enough money from this.
And then when she's got a proper education, then she can talk shit and gobshite off. You
Yeah,
know,
well.
yeah.
I just, you know, going back to all this, I think you can preach, but well, I mean, we're preaching. We're not. We're discussing.
Well,
we're discussing.
We're discussing. I mean, I don't know.
No,
I
exactly.
don't know.
I don't know
what I'm talking about.
Exactly,
but
me neither. Just a little bit of research and just looking into it and my own
Yeah.
and my own views and my own opinions. But I think until you're doing something, really being out in the field, it's like when we were talking before about holidays. You can't judge a place until you've been there and
No,
seen
you
it yourself.
can't.
You know,
No.
you can't.
And Jagger
Yeah.
hit that nail on the head.
Yeah.
He said last week, until you actually see a place with your own eyes and what it's actually like and how these people live, then you can judge.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You can make your own assessment on,
Yeah.
on what the situation is. In this situation as well, you can't really be a big part of it until you've tried to change something. You know, there's people out there now. I've got his name written down here. What's his name?
I don't know. I couldn't read your writing, mate, earlier.
Boyan Slat. You would have heard about him on the news. Boyan Slat, is a Dutch lad.
Right.
He saw the problem. He saw the problem of the plastic floating in the oceans. You know, so he's invented a machine that can go. It can go into the oceans and it can suck plastic up. You know, he recycles it. He does whatever this machine does with it. I don't know what it does,
No.
but it's a positive impact. That's one person. That's one person with not a lot of money. I
Yeah.
think he did some crowdfunding and got a few million
Yeah.
and built this machine, and now he does it. He can suck. You know, he can suck.
Suck.
It can suck like it's a ridiculous amount of plastic out of the ocean in a short amount of space of time.
I did notice that Nike were doing a product of they were making waterproofs out of recycled. I think it was Nike or Adidas, because a friend of mine had a waterproof coat, and he said that was actual recycled.
But that going back to
Plastic out
locally,
the
like,
oceans,
you haven't
yeah.
got Facebook, but
No,
a lot of
I
people,
won't do it.
a lot of people,
Never.
a lot of people can vouch for me. One good thing that's come out of that devil app is the Facebook marketplace, because you can get anything, mate, anything for nothing. It's all cheap. In fact, some of it's free. But if you want something, you can get it. And this is a good movement for people to go down. You know, people buy expensive clothes. You know, young lads are buying coats that are 300, 400, 500, 600 quid and wearing them for a year, and they're gone again. So you know, people can buy these coats for next to nothing again. It's a good thing to do. People shouldn't be embarrassed wearing second-hand clothes.
No.
You know what I mean? It's just it's an item that somebody else has bought, and it's good for the environment. The less people it's probably got to be one of the biggest negative impacts on our environment is people buying fast fashion, which is like Boohoo. I don't want to name all the big companies, but you know how it is. Fast fashion, especially girls. Girls have got to have something different every week. Every single week there's a different dress that's trending. You can't have that one. You can't wear... Everybody now thinks you're a celebrity because of Instagram and Twitter, so you can't wear the same thing for the same week. I feel a bit the same, actually. I feel like I'm a bit of a celebrity with all our viewers at the minute, Mark. You know,
I'm very conscious of, like, you know, we're wearing the same. Yeah, I have actually worn this on 2 podcasts, I think.
This is a second-hand T-shirt, Mark, that my missus, I think, was with her gran or something, got from a charity shop, picked up. I'm not afraid, mate.
There's nothing wrong with that,
It's
mate.
sound, mate.
There's nothing
It's
wrong.
all right.
And I'm telling you a little story. My father-in-law and my mother-in-law used to have a designer clothes shop. All right, and obviously they stopped trading. They kept a lot of stuff left over from 20 years, and they were having a turf out at home, and they said, oh, this would fit you, this would fit you. And I said, oh, where you got all this from? Oh, it's from our designer clothes shop that we used to own.
Yeah.
Well, that was 20 years ago. This stuff still looked great.
Yeah,
And
good.
nobody would know. It's not branded or anything, but it is good quality clothing.
Yeah.
I've actually worn the shorts on 2 of the podcasts.
Yeah, good.
20-year-old
Yeah,
shorts.
exactly. Who knew?
Still there. Nobody
No one
knows.
knew. Yeah.
Still looks great. You know, and
this is it. This is
I'm
not
very conscious.
Just not falling foul to fast fashion. If you
Yeah.
can just buy something that's timeless.
Yeah.
You know, you're like me. I wear a lot of walking gear anyway.
Yeah.
You know, it's rare.
I do.
It's rare.
Well, this is my walking jacket.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's rare that I'm wearing, you know, nice shoes and jeans and that.
Yeah.
So I'm usually wearing boots and
Walking
walking trousers.
trousers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. That's usually or trackies.
Yeah.
You know, trackies and
Comfy.
shorts while I'm scratching my balls on the settee. You know.
Or the dog's licking them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know. So going back, just people who are doing positive things, mate.
Yeah.
I've seen on the media a few times on social media as well, companies that are trying to set up extracting carbon from the atmosphere. Somebody's invented some sort of pump that can extract carbon and recycle it and turn it back into fuels. Add water to it and turn it back into fuel. You know,
What was I doing on lockdown? What was I building out of
a
old?
fuel extraction system.
No.
No, carbon. No.
How many old pallets did
Yeah,
I?
yeah, true, yeah,
Pallets.
yeah.
I made pallet wood art
Yeah, exactly.
out of old pallet wood, recycled stuff that was chucked in the skip.
What I did is I went round collecting like real ornate furniture and tables, and what I did is I deconstructed them all and made them into a pallet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking ahead. You see, I'm fucking ahead of the game, mate. They're all fucking breaking these pallets up,
Yeah.
so there's not gonna be any pallets left, is there? I'm there making pallets. I'm ready for it.
And you know, some pallet wood, mate, is actually made out of ash and oak as well.
Yes,
A lot
nice
of
pallet
this
wood.
is,
I made
pine.
I made a big picket fence out of pallet wood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aye.
We're recyclers, but that's
We
what we
are,
do.
definitely.
We're practicing what we're preaching, mate. I don't think I had much more to say about it. I just think it's a good topic to be open,
It is.
especially in.
I've got
especially
one
in
more
young-
thing to
yeah,
say
yeah,
about
good,
it.
Yeah, good.
If anybody hasn't heard of a comedian called George Carlin, and I've
Yeah,
sent
I
you
have,
quite
yeah.
a lot of links to him, he
Recently
does,
passed away, I think. Mark,
Oh,
George
it
Carlin.
was over 10 years
Was it?
ago, mate. Yeah.
Recently.
Yeah. He, on one of his specials, HBO specials he did years ago, he does an act about the environment, how people, when they have a environmental disaster, flooding, hurricanes, what he tends to forget, and people scream and shout, it's unfortunate people lose their homes, their livelihoods.
Mm-hmm.
But what they tend to forget is not just them, but as the human race, it's all right for us to go and just tear up, divert rivers, build on land, floodplain land, destroy mountains, mine mountains and stuff. And yet when Mother Nature fights back, we all are hard done to. And
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's almost like a slight punishment.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, the people that are involved are going to be innocent people, and you wouldn't wish it on anyone. But
No, you wouldn't. No, I wouldn't like it to happen to me. It's awful, but
yeah, for every action there's a reaction. Mark.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Vinnie Jones once said that in Snatch.
Yeah, clever man.
Yeah, very clever man.
I walk in some clever shoes, Mark. There was a quote that stood out for me somewhere. It was, think globally, act locally. You can only do so much. You're not going to save the world, are you? No individual's going to save the world, but you can do your bit. And I think we can all do our bit, and collectively I think we can do amazing things, but it's just getting there. We just got to get there.
You weren't even talking about recycling. Years ago, we used to go to our local off licence. There used to be these Corona bottles, these Corona pop bottles.
Yeah.
You used to get 10p if you returned them.
Yeah, why
don't they do that
I know
anymore?
Germany do it. I go to Germany every year. I know they have bottle banks where I think they do glass and tin. So whatever you've got, you get a price per unit. So however many you get, and you get cash back for it.
Yeah.
Imagine kids would love that.
Yeah.
Imagine kids
I
would
used to
be
take it back
collecting this
and
shit.
like 30 pence worth and get a bag of sweets.
Yeah,
Happy
exactly.
days.
Especially glass bottles and that. I don't know why we don't
No.
recycle them more widely, because they can just be used again straight off, surely. Put them back in a crate, send them back to the company even, and they'll give you a bit of discount for your beer. If you just buy a certain beer all the time, send your tins back, send your bottles back. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's all good, all food for thought, but
It is.
food for thought, so keep it in mind.
Yeah.
And I think for the younger generation, just to... Yeah, I class myself as a younger generation, but even the younger generation now, who's even more heavily influenced by social media, is just to try and just think for yourself. I don't care what the conspiracies are. Just think for yourself. The environment needs protecting. Everything around it. You can only see it in my short lifetime, in my short adulthood, seeing what's already, the bees are under strain, bees are going extinct. Some certain species of bees, certain species of animals. I know it's probably, even that might be a natural cause of life. Things are going to live and things are going to die out, but...
Things do become extinct, mate. It's we will eventually.
Yeah. But if we can control it in a good way, why wouldn't we?
Yeah.
If we can, if we're contributing to that extinction, all that, all the ice caps melting, or the environment being poisoned,
Zombie apocalypse.
Yeah. I know things like this fucking coronavirus get in the way of things, don't they? And it's almost impossible to do anything other than that. But I don't know. Maybe this 1 month lockdown where you can still walk, still work, still go to shops. Students can still go to uni. Maybe that will save the world,
mate. Yeah.
Maybe that will save the world. Maybe we're the fucking stupid ones for not accepting it. Maybe it's going to save the world. Maybe the R rate will drop to such low numbers it will never come back. I don't fucking know anymore.
I don't, mate. I don't. It's I'm past the point of caring.
I'll just put my mask on and go, yes, sir.
Yes,
sir.
Yes, Boris.
Yes,
Yes, Boris.
sir. Yes, sir.
And Mr. Witty.
Yes, Mr. Witty. But yeah, I think we've
oh, fuck you know. Oh, dear.
I think we've preached enough.
We have, yes.
This is just a little nod to our world, I think. I think I always want to talk about it. I think it's a hot subject.
It's been forgotten about lately. To be fair,
it's not a trend, is it? It's something that's real. No,
we're forgetting about. I think because of what's going on in the world and with the coronavirus impacting us all, we are forgetting about things that should
world,
matter.
yeah, the world that's actually there,
Yeah.
the real world, not the fucking
Yeah.
BBC fucking news
No.
world.
No. And I'm all for defunding the BBC.
Yeah,
so
fuck 'em off. Stop paying your
fuck
licenses.
off. Yeah.
I'd rather
the
be
communist
manipulated by-
television.
Yeah, well, hey,
Yeah, we'll get deplatformed for that. That comment. Sorry, Matt.
But we've not said anything about YouTube. YouTube's
No,
lovely.
YouTube's great. We
Except
like
for
YouTube.
their shocking algorithms that is
Yeah.
killing kids' brains. But other than that, they're great, you know.
We like YouTube.
Young schmuck.
I still haven't watched that
Yeah,
movie. I've got to
need
watch
to.
it, mate.
Need
He's
to. Is
Sacha
it-
Baron Cohen,
Yeah,
legend.
We'll get on a tangent, but
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks again,
All
guys.
right, thank you. See you in the next one.
Bow.
Out.